of all, thank you, Prashant ji, and thank you for the AgroChem Summit participating, like inviting me for this AgroChem Summit. So this is the last session, and it's a very important session, but we are discussing on the last. That is also another important thing. So basically, as we are discussing since morning, so there are multiple avenues, means approaches what we are talking about, like related to agriculture based on the chemicals, biologicals, molecules, patenting, lot of issues we discussed. But wherein like the important part is like the collaboration, which is very integral part to make a good success and to take the country to the further level. Yeah, yeah. So that's why if you see agriculture is a very complex system, and wherein like we see lot of issues are there, like drought conditions, hot conditions, pest diseases, nutrition, soil health we were talking about it, and soil microbes also we were talking about it. Finally everything comes to the sustainability and productivity. The very right statement is given, balancing driving sustainability for and the balancing productivity. This is very important. So coming to the how important the industry and academia collaboration is, basically academics in our country or globally if you see, it is the different mindset, and the private industry is having different mindset. So to bring together, so there should be some synergy is required. So synergy, how it comes, like if academic people usually they go academic thought process basis, like basic science and publications and the degree completions, all those courses. And industry thinks about the entrepreneurship and the business and the benefits. So that's how synergy should be there. And in between also government is also very important. Policies are makes very big difference. So hence this triple helix structure what I'm showing here is very important. Like academia, industry and government policies, if they matches, it will become a very good combination for development. Coming to like improvements in Indian scenario, so India in global innovation index, India was 81st number in 2015. In last 10 years, we grown up to 38 like level. That means we have made a very good progress. However, if you see the expenses, expense wise or GDP amount what we are spending on the R&D is very low. That is about 0.65 to 0.7%. And coming to the recent developments, like in startup incubation centers, startups, and making all those different ecosystem for developing, for bringing the innovations to the commercialization. So we grown very well. So in last few years, if you see like 1,40,000 startups have been started in India, whereas comparing to 5 lakh US and China 3 lakh. But we have unicorns more than 100 plus, whereas China is having only 300. So that's how if you see we are doing very good progress, but still lot of scope is there to improve in a different directions. So coming to some examples, like TCS has collaborated with University IIT Bombay for developing quantum technology. So these are some good examples are coming up which can give good encouragement to industry academia collaborations, which can bring in lots of innovations to the business. Like some Indian initiatives, what we can say, in 2009 and 10, IIT Madras has initiated taken initiative for developing a research park. So where more than 200 participants were there, like a startup, and over 70 companies have been taken a participation, and this was a very good example. After that, you can see like government also took initiative, example wise Atal Incubation Centers started in 2016, and BIRAC, which is one of the government agency from Department of Science and Technology. So they also started BioNest as a incubation centers to encourage the academicians to set up their ideas and to develop a proof of concept, and then finally one can go to the startup level and do the business. So that way if you see the importance of strengthening collaboration is more important, because it will give some good skill development to the academics and a good platform to work with the industry for having a targeted objects. objectives. So towards sustainable, what we are seeing here, so there are three sustainable goals lies in our agriculture, which is one is the climate action, which is the 13th goal, and second goal, if you see the removing the hunger, that means it is indirectly related to the agriculture, and third one is like health, like well-being, that is also important. When you feed good quality food, then health also will be good, so that is also comes under sustainability. Then as we discussed, no need to discuss these things because we contribute about 16.5% of GDP in terms of agriculture, whereas China is having 7.9 and Europe is having 1.6 and US is having 0.9. But our contribution is more where agriculture comes, and almost more than 40% employment coming from agriculture. So whereas 18% of world population we are feeding, that is one part, and 15% of world animal also population we are is dependent on the agriculture, like for the feed, and 4.2% of the world's water we are using, and 2.4% of the world land area we are using for agriculture, and 11.2% of world arable land is under agriculture. Some challenges we discussed, like here over 6 decades of reliance on synthetic inputs, because agriculture, when we were talking about like agriculture recently, when we discussed about biologicals, it is very important that we have to balance the soil health also. At the same time, we have to reduce the chemical pressure so as to keep the health of soil for good productivity. In the morning also we saw our chemical industrialist also mentioned that soil health is a very integral part. Just to say one example, like in our human being, how the hemoglobin works for our health. So that way organic carbon also works very well in soil. If organic carbon is good, then all the ingredients what we are putting, whether they are biologicals, whether they are chemicals, so those will be uptaken very nicely, and crop quality as well as the productivity will be balanced. So this is the need of the time. So that's why we have to focus on integrated approaches along with the chemical fertilizers. We have to balance the biological fertilizers also, and integrated approaches need to be taken care. So during these processes, why industry academia is important, because as we saw, like to improve the product development, so academia is very important because basic work has to be done in the universities, whereas private cannot invest lot of money for all equipments and everything. So resource sharing is also important part. So that's why industry academia collaboration with a targeted approach would lead to the very good deliverables. Some of the examples, if we see now, the burning issues, like where we can target. For academics, we have to give a targeted objective so that then collaboration will become a strong, and even IPRs also can be shared in a positive way. So then win-win situation will happen. Some of the examples, if I want to state in terms of agriculture, we need prolonged delivery crop nutrition systems. Like whatever fertilizers we are applying, it should be slow deliverable and uptake should be good. And soil health microbe management, as we discussed in the previous panel discussion, which is very integral and important part, where again one question comes here, how the academics can contribute, because when we are applying the biologicals, now we discussed, it cannot be measured. So there it lies the innovation part. Can we measure like how it is working? Are there any delivery methods we can improve? So there academics can be given objectives, and then collaboration can happen. Then we can develop some good technologies. And trait development using predictive breeding. So now we see like some crops take like almost 16 years to breed one new variety, like sugarcane. So there can we use AI and ML, and with the facilities of the universities and academic partners, can we predict the product which we required through reverse technology, reverse engineering you can say, genetics reverse engineering you can do, and develop some good technologies in a shorter period. And weedicides, we have seen lot of weedicides are being applied, and people are also having concerns about the quality of soil after putting lot of weedicides. Can we like use very precision weedicides to kill the weeds very effectively? And micronutrients uptake also can be improved using some good technologies, which can be again collaborative programs can be initiated in that direction. Weather forecast, we have seen like now digital agriculture we were discussing in the previous panels. So that is also important to early detection of the pest and diseases. Forecast of the weather is important to plan harvest and to plan the further agricultural practices. So just I am giving our own example at Institute what we are doing. So we are working on digital farm boundaries for our region. Crop diversification and rotation we are recommending to maintain the soil health as well as to improve the nutrition. Organic amendments also we are applying to reduce the chemicals, whereas we are testing soils and specifically recommending to the farmers what exactly nutrition to be given or chemical fertilizer to be given. Apart from that, water is also very important part. If we go for precision irrigation, that itself will increase almost more than 25% of the yields in the farm. So these are the areas we are working with our own university and some other institutions like Michigan State University of USA and some other institutes of India like IRI, ICR, SBI Coimbatore. We have collaborations. So this is one of the example what we have industry and academia collaboration. Apart from that, we have initiated one course which is required by our institute with the university, that is the Digital Agriculture Science and Technology. So where students can work, learn theory at university, and they can come to institutes or some companies, they can go and have a practical projects, so that practically problem oriented studies can be done, so that they can develop some good entrepreneurship, as well as along with that one they can also have a skill development. So that is the idea. So one MTech course we started recently 2 years before, so almost 10 students are working on this aspect also. These are some collaborations what we already are working with institutes as well as universities and with some private companies also. These are my thoughts with industry and academia. So to go way forward, to reap the benefits of symbiotic association and enjoy the synergy, yet India awaits full realization. This is a beginning, still long way to go. Both sectors need to leverage its strength for robust collaboration for mutual benefits by filling the gaps. Industries increasingly value partnership with academic institutions for their innovative potential is a good sign, because innovations are more. For example, to tell, in India right now, it's the patent realization to commercial technology is only 0.4%, whereas globally it is 5%. So we have a big scope. So we have to respect academia also, where they work on the technology based, and academics to look into more defined problem statements for collaborations. So design tailored courses to enhance the skill development is very important, and MOU should be so transparent, so that benefit sharing also should be healthy and win-win situation. So that's why we see a lot of good shape is being taken by Indian ecosystem, and needs to sharpen the by more efforts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I come to Dr. Krishnaiah. CSIR has been CSIR IICT has been forefront for many technologies which has taken roots in industrial houses, and they are manufacturing many products. So what are the key advantages? You can take this. What are the key advantages that academic researchers bring to the table in advancing sustainable agrochemical solutions compared to in-house industry R&D? So if you can throw some light on that, sir. And what has been your experience with your institute versus manufacturing companies?
Yeah, thank you, Prashant, for giving me an opportunity to speak on this prestigious platform covering all the industry majors and academicians. Yeah, when comes to the collaboration between academia and R&D institutions or universities or national laboratories, definitely I can say that there will be much more advantage than working in-house, because nowadays the R&D business is not only the competition or making profits. One has to answer the community needs, taking the responsibility of protecting environment. So when it comes to these terms, as my own experience goes at CSIR IICT Hyderabad, we are developing the process technologies for various off-patented molecule are going to be off-patent soon. In the morning session, we have seen Dr. Professor Subhash Kadam has shown a vast list of almost like 47 molecules. He said they are going to be off-patented in the post-2026. I can say that almost majority, 80% of that list we have taken up to develop the process technologies at IICT. So in a proactive being responsible from the government side sector, like a national laboratory CSIR, we have initiated a mission project, agro mission, with the consortium of our sister laboratories, like 6 to 7 laboratories across the country. We have created a mission mode project with 23 crores spending on the investment, so that we can develop the process technologies for these molecules, and the technology can be transferred to the industry. See, for example, the molecules we have created is like 20 molecules we have taken up. Almost 50% of them are herbicides, and 30% are fungicides, and 20% are insecticide, because even if you take the global trend also, herbicides are taking lead. So in terms of herbicides, we have taken up flumiaxazine, indaziflam, propofisofop, tetflupyrilamide, thiacarbazone methyl, topramazone. And in the fungicide sector, very important products we have taken up: benzovindiflor, cyfluphenamide, and fluxaperoxide. And we have also have the herbicides again, like haloxyphenomethyl, asaxiflutol, and phenoxidin, pyraxylum. And we have another 3 fungicides: mandipropamide, trifloxystrobin, and flupicolide. And another insecticide also we have taken up, sulfoxaflor and spiropedium. The reason I am mentioning these things, because it should go to the larger audience, to the industry, so that the development is being done at national laboratory, so that they can come back and avail these, partner with us at CSR, ISCT, so that if, as previous speaker well presented, we need the synergy, right? So with trust, if you come and pose some confidence in us, so that definitely we can take it up. Because just by spending 2 to 3 years, one cannot expect that technology is ready in all aspects, right? So we have, to the greater extent, we are working to come out with a very economically viable processes. But if the industry partners with us, then it can be taken up further, so that technology can be developed in full-fledged and can be transferred. And added to that, from the morning previous sessions, several speakers spoke about someone needs to be work on NCEs as well, new chemical entities. Yes, that is the very important area, because we are all working on the innovations, but inventions also we need to require to sustain the future, future of these agrochemicals. So we have also initiated the synthesis of new chemical entities. And somebody, I'm sure if Rajesh Agarwal, I believe, IL, working on new chemical entities in India is much more less expensive than Japan. Yes, true, I agree with that. Because in a span of just 2 to 3 years, we have synthesized almost 1,000 new chemical entities, and we have screened them. And from the preliminary screening stage, we can see that couple of hits we could obtain, like 6-7 compounds we have obtained based on our preliminary studies. So if some industry other come forward and partner with us, these can be taken forward, because CSR ISCT alone cannot do this, because there are quite a bit of higher regulatory affairs, all those kinds of things are required. So if the industry partners with us, then we can definitely take it up, and we can emerge with our own Indian, at least a molecule. That's what we are looking at it as. And as we PMFA, Shri Pradeep Daveji also mentioned, they are coordinating with us in the mission project, because again, as an organization, my honest appeal is they need to create the like awareness, or they need to drive their companies to partner with national laboratories or wherever. Not only I can't say that only come to CSIR. Wherever the technologies are available, they need to partner, come forward and partner. And so that with these things only, because see, nowadays everybody says that what is your price? Is it compatible with can it beat the China? See, everybody of us know how China price is. In the morning also they were telling there are several policies that are making China to sell for very minimal price, right? So this is yeah, everybody's understanding. So, however, if the industry can, because if we come out with a robust processes with a novel molecules, definitely, if not today, in future, we will be the leaders even with our own molecules. And with that, probably if the industry comes out with a positive mindset, so that with this partnership, we can reduce the gap of spending and earning as well. That's what I feel when it comes to the collaboration with academia and industry. That's all from my side.
So, sir, what is stopping industries to come to you and join hands? And what are your expectations from the industry? These two get smashed. It will be extremely difficult for them to join hands with you, or industry joining hands with academia and academia joining hands with industry.
Yeah, very valid point. Actually, see, Prashant, it is like this. Now we have taken up the process development of certain molecules. So what we are facing, what the questions we are hearing from industry is your technology is fully ready? I can take just like from a supermarket.
So plug and play.
Right. So it is not that easy, right? See, we are also accountable. If we are go on working on that particular molecule, how we are answerable to the management. If no takers are there, what is that you are going to do with that, right? That is why with the minimal amount, if they can pose trust with us and join hands, because most of the money being taken care by Government of India. We are with the initial investment, we have started things, right? So we only need some partnership so that we can also show that there is a demand, there is a client, so that if we work on this technology can go and meet the farmers. That's all we require. So just like that, if you ask me, if it is ready, I can take. That is something which has to be looked into from industry perspective also. Again, the quantum of amount. Though we are a government sector, but we are also need to accountability how much you are earning, right? If it is for a very minimal peanut prices, then again there will be a problem. That's what the hurdle we are hearing, that kind of queries from the industry partners.
What is the road ahead, sir?
Oh, this only, see, you need to see the future of the molecule. Though we see all the 100% things cannot be sorted out at the early stages. So realizing the importance of the molecule, you pose the trust and partner with us. Let us join, combinedly work it out and bring out with the things. That's what I can say.
So I think it's a very candid that you evaluate out of 10 molecules or 15 molecules, the molecules which have a future, join hands by what we can say investing in those technologies, so that you can move from a pilot stage to a larger scale, and then commercialize it moving forward. So thanks for your views. I come to Dr. Nandkumar. You have been, you are also a research institute, and your company is also in sugarcane business.
Right.
So you work hand in hand, which is a good thing, that on the one hand you have a research institute, and on the other hand you have the industry also.
Yes.
So your example can be very good appreciated by the industry. How do you do that both Godavari biorefinery
Yeah.
and KIARR work hand in hand and both benefit in the long run?
Yeah, this is little bit good example what we can say. Unlike exactly industry academia, we are having some applied research institute, because our mandate is to work on the problem statements what farmers are facing. So we have already 25,000 farmers on our board, so that we know a little bit about like the problems. So that what is our role is like we connect with academia also, and we connect with the industry also. Industry is Godavari, and academia most preferably we first tap our own university, that is Somaiya Vidya Vihar, Mumbai, and then other universities. If we don't have our own resources or expertise in some particular area, say for example, right now we wanted to work on a precision irrigation. That is one example. So we don't have any expertise in our university for working on those aspects. So we are working now with government of Netherlands, with some companies from Netherlands, and we are working on the very latest technology, that is sensor-based groundwater mapping. So this is one of the example I can say. So our role becomes like a mediator role in between, like a basic science plus academics, and then applied science, which we maintain high quality result oriented problem statements which we address. So that's why our role becomes little more what we can say easier than the academics, because as we saw just now, the problem of academics is that like they start working on that, but certainly they will stuck up with some policies or some funding. Although government is making very nice efforts, like bringing the projects programs like SIBRI, BIRAC, so where proof of concepts can be developed through again public-private partnership. There also again mindset will become very important. Like private industry should also show the trust, where maybe out of 2 or 3 programs we can get one output from that. So that way there are some good examples are coming up, but the success ratio is still very limited. So that has to enhance by support of the government, and some different incubation centers are also coming up. But still, if you see, out of 100, maybe only 5 startups are successful in India, even if you take the startup example. And again, coming back to our institute, so as I said, we are working with even other programs also where we can innovate. Like basically the problem statements we are identifying based on our requirement in chemical industry and our Godavari biorefineries, and identifying those problems and taking to the academics. So who can be the expertise on this aspect, and there we take some risk of investment, either through Godavari or through some joint projects we submit to the government and then take initiative. Maybe out of 4 and 5 technologies, 1 technology would be successful. So that way we also initiated some IPR also through these technologies. So that way it is going up very well. I cannot say like 100% what we expect, we cannot get the output of those things, but we are on the right track, and we are exploring more to work with other institutions and universities in India and abroad also. Thank you.
So apart from Godavari, do you also work with other corporates?
No, for companies we don't work, but we work with institutions more to solve our own problems, because we have so many hundreds, thousands of problems are still there. So that we will prioritize and work with for our own institution. But academically, we are open to work with any universities or institutions.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Murari ji, if you can talk about, there is a lot of government funding related to R&D. And so how do you see these policies playing in fostering stronger ties between academia and industry for eco-friendly agrochemical development? Government is nowadays giving fund also for the R&D infrastructure. Plus, there is a lot of funds for the academia institutions and also for academia industry collaboration. So what's your thought?
Yeah. So if you see, there are 3 parts in this. First is the government. Second is academia, that is universities or research institutions. Third is industry. Definitely government has been playing a very pivotal role in terms of developing and promoting the eco-friendly agrochemicals by giving subsidies, by by offering a favorable regulatory framework as well as deduction and incentives on tax. Government has been funding various projects. If you see very recently in July, the government launched one research development and innovation fund, RDF fund, of rupees 1 lakh crore. So the government has been on its own level, has been gradually and consistently funding these research projects, giving grants to universities. On the universities part, they are coming out with the research, but most of the research, I think around 60 to 65% of their final research in terms of formulations, technology, remains in lab because they do not get the industry support to bring it to the field on the application level. And as sir was mentioning, if you see in the agrochemical or chemical sector in India, the corporates, private players has been maximum investing 0.6 to 0.8% or at max we can say 1% of their annual revenue on R&D. If you say take the pharma sector, it is somewhere between 8 to 12%. So 0.6 to 1% of the annual revenue spent on the R&D. This cannot enable the industry or private players to support universities or research institutions and bring their studies or final findings on the application level to the field. The next problem what is coming, even if there is an initial level of agreement between or understanding between research institutions and industry, none of the parties are ready to market these particular findings in the global market or even in the domestic market, because that needs the various segments of the industry to come together, align their vision, and then take it to the next level. So what I think, if from the beginning, if you see, there is a trust deficit between the universities, research institutions, and industry. While research institutions and universities has their own demands, industry needs something far more which the research institutions and universities cannot provide, because universities will have to provide in various stages, in various steps. What industry wants, the completely ready-made thing, as sir was mentioning. So government is there, government support is there, definitely. There is a need to have a changed mindset between universities and the industry to take the R&D at the next level.
So if in pharma they invest almost 10% more,
Yeah.
why are they not investing in chemical?
Because if you
Because
see
it's not that money is not there.
money is there, the pharma, they get the, I can't say instant, but very profit in very short term. That's why you see all the major pharma companies, where in India or globally, they earmark their budget, annual budget, certain percentage in the end of, in the beginning of the year, and their R&D projections, R&D spends are forecasted 5 years prior to when they start this. Some of the MNCs, no doubt in agrochemicals, are spending. Few Indian companies are also very much focused on R&D, like Pi Industries and Best AgroLife. UPL is there. Barring these 3-4 players, I do not see, Ether is there. I do not see the established players who have the very strong capital war chest coming forward and investing in R&D. They might have the fear that on ROI also. And then there is another problem which has come from the regulatory side. That is the data protection sort of thing, and getting the final clearance from the regulators. So sometimes when they are ready with the research, ready with the findings, what happens, it takes 2 to 3 years, 4 years to get the final approval to bring it to the market. By the time these 2-3 years of period, that is the wait period, by the time the other players come up with the similar research findings and formulations, so that goes in vain. That is another thing. The third thing, if you see in the agrochemicals, it takes almost, I think, around 10 to 12 crore rupees to come out with one formulations. Whether that formulations has the proportional ROI or not, they are not confident how the market is going to react or adopt these formulations. That is another issue. That's why private players are not coming. Even the government has given or offering all the facilities to promote the research, particularly in agriculture and eco-friendly agrochemicals field. Because if you see, government has also been extending subsidies to farmers and giving subsidies to the labs to promote eco-friendly agrochemicals and bring the benefits on the ground among the farmers and end users. But still there is a lack of trust between, at least between universities, research institutions and industry. That's why it's going, but going with a very slow pace.
Thank you, Murari. If you see, plug and play kind of a solution is not there even globally. Even global R&D centers, I am not aware that any global R&D center or any global research institute will give you a complete plug and play solution. You just have to buy the technology. It can only happen when you tie up with international companies. But no lab or no research institution can give you plug and play. You have to join hands, work with them. They can give you a pilot. After the pilot, all the kilo projects or the other projects, before you make it commercial, has to be done jointly. I don't know why the confidence is not there with industries or chemical companies, because unless and until that faith or that trust is not built up, whatever that we do will not give us that extra mile. On the one hand, we are saying we are not getting molecules. On the other hand, we say we do not have budget, because as the data is coming is 1%. So money is also there. Some of the standard operating procedures needs to be well defined. Who has to do what needs to be done. Data protection laws needs to be redefined. Whoever is bringing that molecule into picture, the patent or the IPR will go to that particular company or that set of organization who is doing it. And then the trust factor will obviously come. See, you cannot bring trust on day one. It has to be germinated, and slowly as the plant grows, the confidence of both the parties will increase. So Murari, you wanted to say?
So if you see, basically in terms of R&D, in agrochemical, if you see, the industry is quite fragmented. That is number one thing. Second thing, only few players, few big players have almost 85 to 90% control on the agrochemicals market. The smaller players who are even coming, foraying into the R&D arena, they have not been given support and hand-holding by the big players, even in India or the MNCs. So even if they come, like the government, sir was mentioning, if you say the startup, a scheme of the government, see the failure rate, I think it is around 85 to 90% of the startups are failure. They come, they start with the vigorous energy, zeal, in expectations that they will be getting the response from the market from all quarters, but then after 1, 2 years, 3 years, they are forced to wind up. In agrochemicals, small players are not encouraged or not promoted to bring in the research, and bigger players are not able to use them to get their research into the field, into the market. Because they are also, as I mentioned, they want to control everything. Because if I have one pie, if suppose I have one biscuit, this biscuit should belong to only to me. It should not go to someone else. While if you see the MNCs, like you mentioned in the morning, about Japan, Korea, smaller countries, what they do, the bigger players develop any formulations, any product, and then they give that knowledge to several smaller players. The latest trend, what I see in South Korea and Japan, that when they start any research, they bring all the smaller players, even those players who are just 1 year old, 6 months old, they bring them along with them, and then they initiate the research so that they also come to know about the process and get the final benefit of all the R&D things. That is the, it's basically problem of the mindset. As sir was mentioning, there needs to be synergy between the universities and the industry, private players, and one basic fundamental things what we are lacking here in developing countries like India, that government doesn't have any monitoring mechanism. Like in July, the Prime Minister announced about rupees 1 lakh crore RDI fund. I'm sure these funds are going to go to various universities, research institutions, and other private labs as well. Fund will go there, but then there is no monitoring mechanism that whether these funds are getting the desired result or not. So we need to have a very strong institutional mechanism to get the desired result from these research, and also government has to support, handhold to bring these formulations or R&D findings or technology on the ground for the application.
Sir, if you can add something on what Murari has been talking about.
Yeah, exactly. See, if a technology from proof of concept to commercialization, there is a valley of death. We call it a death valley. In that period, if the industry can pose the confidence in academic institutions and trust, definitely that valley can be crossed with much ease, I can say. And as he mentioned, nowadays, if any technology, if it appears to be novel, then the question comes, can it be exclusively? This exclusivity, see, when the smaller countries are going for non-exclusivity and the spread the knowledge generated at the various sectors quickly to the entire society, that is much appreciable. That's what I would like to add it.
Yeah, basically there is a lot of scope, you can say. The communication has to be improved. That is one more thing, because sometimes what happens, the academics research what they are having on the table, it may not, it needs to be little marketed also. Sometimes they have to show the confidence in their own technology. It may happen, it may not happen. So it depends on the then institutions, their administration, their secrecy and their policies and whatever their culture is there. Based on that also sometimes it happens they don't disclose much before the collaboration. So that's how the communication part is, in my opinion, becomes very crucial. So that that part also to be in the terms of business, if you want to talk, that should be the marketable things should be coming up, so that then confidence will build up. Maybe failure is always acceptable by the private industry. Just to say, quote one example, where I was working in seed industry in my earlier career. So we licensed some technologies from IRI, exactly the GM technology, which never saw the light of the day. But I worked more than 15 years on that technology, and we spent crores of rupees on that one. Finally, product didn't come to market, but still, that was the confidence level, because technology was good. It's a policy matter. So the similar way, there may be some good technologies sitting on the shelf in the academics. So those need to be picked up, and even private industry also is always in search of such technologies, but that has to be bring on the table and show more confidence by the private also. They should also offer some funding, as sir said, there is a requirement of funds always, because when you go to the government to ask fund for the validation of technology, sometimes the committees may not be completely favorable or unfavorable. That is different thing, but still there is enough room to improve the funding by contribution by private industry. They should also do more contribution. Of course, government is trying, but in government systems, policy makes a big difference to allot the funds also, and to monitor, as sir said, monitoring of projects also. Now you can see the example of NAC accreditation. For the government, there is a compulsion, MOU is required with how many private institutions you are having collaborations. Based on that, their accreditation is there. But still what happens, because to get the accreditation, they try to sign some MOUs. They are not of that much valuable. So those things also by academics should be think of really why government is insisting to do such type of arrangements, so that ethics if they show, and that courage if they show, okay, we will do only good things which can be deliverable, at least we can try in that way. So then things will be in a very better way. I think slowly this ecosystem also will change, and academics will also understand, or not only for the paper, but we need to do something. So that way, I think things will move positively, and we will see good progress in near future. That's what I feel.
So I come to the last part of it, and if you have any questions, please get yourself ready. This is about what advice would you give to industry leaders on building effective partnerships with academia to drive progress and eco-friendly chemicals. So if you can give point-wise answers, that would be great.
Yeah, the first and foremost, as we discussed, pose the confidence, right? Trust. Don't expect quick results, because it is, after all, research and development. The term itself says, okay? So if you take some risk, pose the confidence, things will work out. That's what I would like to state.
But at least go for that risk.
Yes, you need to take that risk in the interest of the nation.
Because if you don't take risk of swimming, you will never learn swimming. It's same like that. So government has taken initiative. It is definitely, it's a big amount that they have mentioned. And it is for the industry to take benefit out of this through industry, academia, collaboration, and move forward. Because anyway, standalone you can't do much. If you collaborate, definitely things will turn up. Kunchge ji, your thoughts on the last point, the advice to the industry leaders?
Yeah, industry leaders, there are two ways to collaborate. They should think in that direction. One way is to, they themselves also should communicate more with the institutions. And the other way is take the problem statement and go in search of those type of expertise, so where the problems can be sorted out. So that is another way to go ahead. And certainly investment from the private institutions should increase, and they should show more confidence. Of course, success and failure is part of life, so that also should come up. As other way, government has taken good initiative and good support is coming up. So I think industry should take a lead and move forward for more collaborations.
Murari ji, your views?
Industry has to come forward with very open mindset to adopt the overall emerging scenario. If you see, yesterday, one paint company, AgroChem, has acquired Exalta for $9.2 billion. They are expecting post-merger one-year revenue of 17 billion and overall the company size of $25 billion. And the basics of these acquisitions lies in the R&D strength of both companies. Together, they have 91 R&D centers with 3,800 patents in their pocket and 480 patents filed, which is to get the approval from the different countries' regulatories. If industry has to come to grow, and if we are talking about the China plus one strategy or coming somewhere very even distant closer to China, we have to have very open-minded and adopt collaborative approach between all three pillars of this R&D. Only then we can move forward. Otherwise, we will remain stuck. We are, fortunately in agrochemicals, we are the third largest exporter, fourth largest producer. But if we do not change our mindset, then we are going to fall behind from number 3, 4 to 5, 6, 7, something like that.